Hello young people and welcome back to our social media channels. Today we are going to be continuing with part 3 of our giving and serving series. Take you back to last week in our last video, and I'd said that God cares more about why we're giving than actually how much we give. Well, today we're going to continue on that theme a little bit and learn a little bit more about that thought through a story from the Bible called The Widow's Mite. It's found in the book of Mark, which is in the New Testament. Mark is one of the 4 gospel books, which are the 4 accounts of Jesus' life. I'm going to read it for you now from the Bible. As Jesus sat near the temple treasury, he was watching the people as they dropped their money. Many rich men dropped a lot of money. Then a poor widow came along and dropped in just 2 little copper coins, worth about a penny. He called his disciples together and he said to them, "I tell you that this poor widow put more in the offering box than all of the others. For the others put in what they had to spare from all their riches, but she, poor as she is, put in all that she had. She gave all she had to live on." Here, Jesus is trying to teach his followers about generosity. He pointed out the rich people who would come along and give lots and lots of money, but the widow, she came and she gave everything she had. Jesus was making the point to his disciples that it's more about what's in your heart that motivates your giving than how much you give away. It's about the fact that if you care about others enough to give something, that costs you something. As we talked about in our last video, generosity doesn't just mean money. We can be generous in so many different ways. Maybe you get pocket money, or maybe you have a paper round, or maybe you don't actually earn much money. But that doesn't mean that this passage isn't for you as well. The story isn't actually about the money. It's about being generous with whatever that you have available to you. The fact that Jesus had to point the widow out to his disciples means they probably didn't notice her. In the middle of everything that was going around, surrounded by people and fancy furnishings and the beauty of the temple building itself, which was spectacular, it would have been quite easy to miss a little old lady heading up to the offering bowl. Jesus noticed her and he was impressed, and he brought her to the disciples' attention because he knew that the rich people could afford to give away the extra money they had. It wasn't costing them much. But the widow, she represented a true sacrifice. In that time, in those days, women, it was really hard for them to earn money. When they were younger, they relied on their fathers and their family to provide for their needs. And then when they got married, it was their husband's job to provide for them. As we already know, this woman was a widow. Her husband had died. She was all alone in the world, providing for whatever children she may have had with her husband. It would have taken her a long time to earn that money. It would have taken so much time and energy and effort. And here she is, with what little money she has to live on, giving it away for God's work. When she walked up and gave her 2 meagre little coins, it might not have seemed much to the people standing around her, but it was everything that she had. She might have been self-conscious of the people watching her as she gave just these 2 coins, but she still walked up to that offering bowl and put them in. Have a think about what this story means to you. What ideas does it spark for how you can give to those around you with whatever you have available? For example, you might like clothes, you might like shopping, but when you buy something new and you're running out of space in your wardrobe, you could give away the things that you've got or you don't wear anymore to make space for the new stuff. For example, you might like gaming. You might have conquered a lot of games and you might have a big stack of them sitting in your house that you've played and you don't really want to play again. Could you give those away to someone who maybe doesn't get the opportunity to play these games or can't afford these games? Could you give them to charity so that other people get the chance to get the joy from them too? You might be sitting there watching saying, I do this all the time. I'm giving to people and I'm generous and I'm serving people and nobody ever notices. You might not think that what you're offering means much to people. You might feel really underappreciated for what you're actually contributing and you're making in your daily situations, but this story is a reminder that God and Jesus see our sacrifices. They see our generosity, they see what we're giving, even if the people around us don't notice us in the crowd. It's a reminder for us to keep giving the best that we have to offer, even in the hardest of circumstances. There are so many ways that we can give to other people, and like I've already mentioned, it's more about what's in our hearts when we give than actually how much we're giving. If you're giving and serving people just to look good and just to look really flashy, then you might find you're going to get a little disappointed with the outcome. But if you're giving and serving because you truly want to look out for people and please God, God sees that. He's the one whose opinion truly matters, and He's the one who will bless you when you serve.